What do you do if your sukkah decorations fell down on Shabbat, on Yom Tov, or on a Chol Hamoed? Are you allowed to put them back in their place? Are you allowed to lift them and put them even away? The Gemara on Shabbat and Daf Mem Hey Amud Aleph discusses the fact that sukkah decorations, noi sukkah, are considered muktzah because they're set aside specifically for mitzvah use. A Gemara earlier in Masechet Shabbat and Daf Chaf Bet Amud Aleph explains that the reason we're forbidden to use noi sukkah is for another reason, and that's called bizui mitzvah. We have to be careful that once they're decorations for a sukkah, we don't want to do anything that may degrade them or minimize them. The Tosfot in Shabbat explains that we need both reasons because muktzah only applies on Shabbat and on Yom Tov and does not apply on Chol Hamoed, and therefore, if the sukkah decorations fell on Yom Tov, they can't be moved, and the same thing if they fell on Shabbat. Interestingly, we're more stringent when it comes to Yom Tov and Muktzah, and therefore, if they fell, for example, on the table, and we needed that space on the table, they could be moved kila acher yad in an indirect fashion. If it was on Shabbat of Chol Hamoed, the decorations ideally should be moved kilachir yad, but if that wasn't possible, if the space was needed, it could be moved in a regular fashion as well. Chol Hamoed, we can put back sukkah decorations as they were before. They're not muktzah, but we have to make sure that we're not doing anything that would be considered bizui mitzvah. After Sukkot, we have to make sure sukkah decorations are not used for a degrading purpose. And similarly, if we had some kind of fruits or vegetables used for the sukkah, we can't just throw them out. We'd be allowed to eat them, but we have to be careful in how they're being used. There is one more possibility, and that is a Gemara in Beitza and Daf Lamed Amud Bet, which says that a person could make an oral condition before Sukkot that they never want the sukkah decorations to be considered muktzah. They don't want it to be part of the mitzvah in the same sense. If that was the case, if they made that kind of condition, the muktzah situation does not begin, and therefore if it fell on Yom Tov or Shabbat, you'd be able to move them, and this is mentioned in Orach Chaim, Taf Reish Lamed Tet, Sif Bet, and also in the Mishnah Berurah in Taf Reish Lamed Tet, Sif Katan Yutet. However, there are a lot of conditions to how to make such a condition, different requirements, and therefore the Ramam suggests not using this idea, whereas the Mishnah Berurah in Siv Katan Chaf Gimel does allow people. Nevertheless, we prefer not to make the condition. If the decorations fall on Shabbat or Yom Tov, they're muktzah. Don't move them unless if you absolutely need the place, and then kila acher yad. However, on Chol Hamoed, if they fell, you can put them back in place as regular.